I'm Ariana Grande.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Erivo.
And you're listening to the Broadway Podcast Network.
Visit bpm.fm to discover more.
Hey, I'm Erik Christopher Peterson, and welcome to the Theater Podcast with Alan Seals.
Hello there, welcome to an all-new episode of the Theater Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Seals, and today is the start of something incredibly fun. This is the first in a 7-episode takeover featuring cast members from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. So this episode, of course, starts out with Erik Christopher Peterson, who brings a beautiful mix of heart, humor, and Shakespearean depth to the role of Scorpius Malfoy. And in this episode, we explore his journey from a baseball-obsessed kid in Denver to making his Broadway debut in one of the most technically demanding shows on stage. And we talk a little bit about imposter syndrome, his love of acting and writing, and how his interpretation of Scorpius has grown through the hundreds of performances he's got under his belt now. Or, in his wand. Plus, we get into the emotional bond between Scorpius and Albus, the magic of live theater, and, why Erik is totally down to write a Shakespearean play about baseball. This one's a total joy. Just the beginning of a magical series ahead. See what I did there? Be sure to follow me on social media and head to Patreon or Spotify to watch the video version of this episode. And of course, this episode is brought to you by welcometotimesquare.com. The billboard where you can be a star for a day. And now everyone, please enjoy this episode with Erik Christopher Peterson.
Here you go. 1, 2, 3.
Today's guest is a writer, director, and actor whose work has spanned Shakespeare, new works, and regional theater. As a director, he's helmed productions like Duck Ass, The Most Lamentable Tragedy of the Peanut Butter King, while his original works include the tragedy of Clownpheus and EuridIceCream. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Now he makes his Broadway debut as Scorpius Malfoy in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Erik Christopher Peterson, welcome to the Theater Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Did I say that right? EuridIceCream?
EuridIceCream.
EuridIceCream. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because, all of these names, these Greek names, I always say, I'm like Persephone and,
Sure.
and Eurydice.
Sure. The classic Greek name,
Yeah.
EuridIceCream.
Yeah, EuridIceCream. So you wrote this? Like, tell me about who you are as a writer. Because, I mean, we're talking about it. I want to dive into this. Because
Okay, yeah.
A, I like your sense of humor. And B, C-A.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Okay, wow, starting with the deep cut. That's great.
Yeah, we're going now.
Well, I went to college at Webster with a friend named Nathan Shue, who is, he's a good friend of mine, and he has got one of the most unique minds of anyone I've ever collaborated with. And I messaged him and I said, hey, let's do something together, just 'cause. And that meant a lot of time in a studio, not doing anything, staring at the wall, playing with the lights, fiddling our thumbs. And eventually it turned into a play called The Tragedy of Clownpheus and EuridIceCream, which is about a clown who falls in love with an ice cream cone.
Clown who falls in love. Hold on. Okay, I'm picturing this. Go on.
And the ice cream cone melts.
Oh, no.
As they are wont to do. And so then Clownpheus travels through layers of clown hell in order to demand his ice cream cone back from Satan.
So this was the first working version of Hades Town.
It came around after Hades Town. But
Don't lie. I know. Like Aeneas totally skimmed this off of you, didn't she? Yeah.
I guess so. I guess so.
Yeah. Well, do you like writing and versus directing versus acting? Do you have a preference? Because you've kind of like, obviously you're doing it all.
That's the aspiration.
To do it all, really?
Yeah. I am obsessed with acting. I love it. I struggle with writing, but I want to do it. And I think directing is the most challenging but gratifying thing I've ever done. I've only done it on a small scale, but I just want to make cool stuff with cool people. That seems like a great way to spend my life, right?
Well, okay, so tell me about starting your life. Where did you grow up?
Yeah.
And what got you into, what was it first? Was it writing? Was it acting? What did you start?
So I grew up in the Denver area. My father is a theater teacher, so that's sort of where the seed was planted.
So, but did he say, go forth and conquer, or don't do what I do?
I mean,
because it's tough.
The tools were there for whatever I wanted to do. If I said I want to be in a play, he said, yes, let's make it happen. But I never felt any pressure, like it's what I needed to do. My parents are supportive and wonderful and very accepting of whatever it is I kind of found myself drawn to. And for most of my childhood, that was baseball. I played baseball like every second of every day. I love baseball. And then I sort of hit a point where I was like, okay, maybe the major leagues was not in the cards. And so I found myself acting a lot. And then that's definitely where it began, was the acting. And then I went to school for acting. Mm-hmm. And while I was there, we had to take directing courses, writing courses, and I sort of fell in love with all of it.
When did you start writing, though? I mean, was there always this sort of love for Greek mythology, or was that just sort of fun because you could play with the name?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I love like fantastic worlds, Harry Potter, the Wizarding World, sure. And I grew up, reading Percy Jackson and all kinds of stuff like that. And Shakespeare like has my heart. I love an epic story as much as I love a tiny little intimate story. It's all. I think there's room for all of it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so then. You're a little kid, seeing your dad, all the tools are there. And at what point, though, did you really, I mean, you're doing Little League, I guess, right? Because you were
obsessively, yeah.
Obsessively, right? But then at what point were you like, all right, I guess I'm going to try to do this other thing seriously? Because to commit to theater, you have to commit to theater.
Yeah.
You can't, be doing Little League on the side while you're still doing Shakespeare at night. Maybe you can. I don't know.
Well, I tried for a little bit, and it was really hard. My freshman year of high school, I did all the plays and tried to play baseball, and I don't know if I slept or whatever. So then from that point on, it was kind of like, okay, acting's the thing. That's what I want to do. But when I was in 7th grade in middle school, the high school that I ended up going to, which is not the high school my dad teaches at, was doing a production of Ragtime, and they needed somebody to play Edgar, the little boy. And so they were going to audition from students at the middle school, and I auditioned, and I got the part. And we took the show to the Colorado State Thespian Festival, and it was like this explosion of joy, this labor of love to do this thing. And also it was kind of like Ragtime is it's a heavy show, Of
course.
It's a thinker, and really evocative. Mm-hmm. And I kind of realized, this is not just, a fun thing to do. It's also a powerful, soul-filling, important thing.
You can command the audience.
Yeah. And that was kind of the point I cite as the moment where there was no going back.
So that was 7th grade, you said?
Yeah.
7th grade. Wow.
12 years old.
Yeah, 12, 7th grade. And that's when you start to really dive into who you are as a person, as a kid, I would think, 11, 12, 13 years old, the tweens.
The early crisis of self begins.
The early crisis of self, and I'll let you know when it stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. 30 years later, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Start a podcast. So, it's 7th grade. You're there. You're going through Ragtime. I mean, a heavy show, obviously, with some heavy subject matter. But then, at that point, 8th grade, you're like, all right, no more baseball. That's it. I'm out.
I tried to play baseball for another 3 years after that, I guess. And now I get to play in the Broadway softball league.
There you go. There you go. That's something.
It's a dream come true.
Yeah. Can you narrate a baseball game in iambic pentameter like Shakespeare?
Oh wow, that would be a task.
I don't even.
Maybe I could with enough practice.
I think you should. You should write a show that's all about baseball, but spoken like Shakespeare.
You've laid down the gauntlet.
There you go. Gauntlet has been thrown. This time next year, I'm going to be interviewing you.
Okay.
About Shakesball.
Okay. The title might need some work.
We're workshopping it. We're workshopping it already.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Base pier.
Oh my gosh.
No.
The puns.
We'll get there. All right. All right, audience. You know what titles we got to do? Right in. So then you're getting into high school, and are your parents at this point like, hey, do you want to take it seriously, or is there anything else? Is another alternate universe where you're a history major or something?
I don't think I really at that point I wasn't giving anybody any options. It was kind of like, this is what I'm going to do. And I was so fortunate to have a family that was just like, yeah, okay.
And they were okay with it. Like,
Totally.
even after going through it, knowing it's hard and wow. Yeah. Because it could go either way. I think when you have parents or a parent that is like really into it, that they're like, nope, I don't want my kid doing it because it's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's really good. And okay. So then high school, then what's beyond that?
Yeah, so that takes me to Webster University in St. Louis for 4 years for an acting degree through the pandemic, of course, which was
Fun.
treacherously fun. And I learned a lot in my time there, learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about how to do Ibsen on Zoom. And that's a joke. I mean, it's true. Anyway.
I mean, it is unfortunately true.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it has to be true because, I mean, side note, asterisk, insert pause here, that there were so many people that tried to make theater during the pandemic and do like Zoom performances and whatnot, and power to them. It just didn't work. It's like watching postage stamps talk. And I applaud the attempt, and it was great, and we needed something, but live theater needs to be live in the room, feeling the emotion, taking that audience on that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Certainly.
So anyway, back to what we're talking about. What were we talking about?
We're talking Webster University.
Go on. Go on.
And then I graduated from Webster and found myself doing a production of Othello and a production of The Importance of Being Earnest in Flagstaff, Arizona for the summer. And also flying to New York to audition for Harry Potter. And the next thing I knew, I was learning magic.
Wait, so how did audition even come across your desk?
I signed with an agent out of my senior showcase.
Sure.
Very traditional. In this, I feel like in this profession, there's so much there's no traditional path at all, and everyone has their own path, and that's totally true. Like when I was a senior in college, all I wanted was somebody to say is like, this is how it's going to happen. This is how you will find work. So I guess I say traditional with a grain of salt, but like
most commonly followed.
Yeah. I signed with an agent out of my showcase. Very lucky to find someone to collaborate with in that way. And then Harry Potter was like the third audition I had.
When you say collaborate, that's interesting. You said you collaborate with your agent, right?
Yeah.
So explain or explore that a little bit, because I guess maybe because I don't have one. That an agent is an agent a collaborator? Are they help? Just explain what you meant by that.
Aspirationally, yeah. Two people or a team of people working together to build a career with a shared vision. Yeah.
But I've never heard an agent referred to as a collaborator before. It's just really cool. I think that you think that way.
Oh yeah, I mean, I guess we're all collaborating in some way. We're collaborating right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we've already workshopped 2 titles for a new baseball Shakespeare thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're
It's
collaborating.
coming.
Yeah,
It's coming, Broadway.
It's coming.
Broadway 2037.
If Broadway's even around in 2037. Oh God. All right. So then Harry Potter. Had you seen this version? Had you seen Cursed Child before auditioning for it? Did you know anything about this continuation?
Well, I had read the published script when it came out, and I read it obsessively as I was auditioning for it. But I hadn't seen it until after I signed my name on the piece of paper to agree to do it. And then I thought I should go see what this is all about. So I went and saw the show.
So you go and see the show. Are you like, I can't wait to do this, or holy crap, what did I get myself into?
I mean, so much both. I went with my brother, moved to New York with me, and I had moved a couple weeks before him to do my last couple rounds of auditions. And then he was in the airplane when I got the phone call that I was going to do the show. And so he landed and he got to our apartment. And I said, your room's through that door. That room's the bathroom. I got the job. And let's go see the show tonight. And he was like, oh my gosh, okay, yeah. So we went to the Harry Potter Experience store downtown in the Flatiron. And we got a butterbeer. And then we went to the show with a couple of my friends, joined us as well. And we went out and had a sandwich afterwards. And we were all kind of like, wow, I'm gonna do that in a couple of months, and it was mind blowing.
So then when you start the rehearsal process, I know that I just recently learned that you have a rehearsal room in the theater.
We do,
above the stage,
Yeah.
right? But there's some stuff that you have to do on the stage because of the logistics of the illusions and whatnot. So when you started the rehearsals, again, I mean, imposter syndrome. Speaking for myself, everywhere I go, it's imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah.
And so like when you're there, fresh out of college, in this behemoth of a show, learning these illusions on the stage, right? Like what's going through your head?
I mean, when I joined the show, I joined with another actor named Joel, who was joining as Albus, and he's not in the show anymore, but we were joining at the same time, and it was kind of both of our first big job out of college, and so we frequently looked at each other like kids in a candy store throughout the rehearsal process, and that continues to be my experience to this day, I think, with the show, and that perspective hits me as I'm jumping off of the flaming train and the trolley which is screaming after me. It's like, record scratch.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably wondering how I got here. And I'm pinching myself because it's what I do for a living, and it's incredible. But yeah, that first rehearsal process was totally full of imposter syndrome, totally full of existential crisis, but primarily full of joy and love and a great gratitude that this creative team and all of these incredible, experienced artists that I'm working with are trusting me with this beautiful character. It was an adventure. It continues to be an adventure 2.5 years in.
Wow. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break. All right, everyone. Now we're back. Okay, so then you've got this character, so Scorpius didn't exist in the books or the movies traditionally, and so now this is new for this iteration. We're picking up after the epilogue of the last movie, and this is 19 years later, and now the kids that we watched grew up, have their own kids that they're sending to Hogwarts. You are now the kid of Draco,
right,
the son of Draco, and that's a complicated relationship. And I was going to ask, and I think they're related, but I was originally about to ask, why do you think the casting team goes after such traditionally serious, like there's a lot of Shakespearean experience in your cast.
Yeah,
like
is.
Very hardcore, serious actors. And so kind of using that as a framework to answer this question here, how do you think that you're approaching Scorpius, playing his truth and creating this character that on the surface is just, like the complete opposite of his dad or complete opposite of at least what we expect him to be?
Right. Yeah, Draco Malfoy's son who idolizes Harry Potter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is, much to Draco's chagrin, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the play is epic in its scope, much in the way some of those Shakespearean classics are, sweeping with many characters, many perspectives, and like the peaks and valleys of the play. It's not just one sort of story arc.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost two main plot lines in our play, much like there is in some of those classics. And so I think that it attracts actors interested in that type of work. And it's also like, it's rich language, it's action forward language, and so I think it behooves the company to have actors that are accustomed to working with that sort of language that has a drive to it. So I think there's the Shakespeare connection.
Yeah.
And in rehearsal with John Tiffany, we've chatted Shakespeare, on breaks before. So I think it's also just like a shared interest.
But then Scorpius, right? Developing your version of Scorpius, right? Like you don't want to be the last person who was on stage. You want to be the Erik version. You want to be your own thing. And so approaching it. So, growing up with whatever you grew up with in the Harry Potter world, and creating this character to make it unique and make your own, like where do you even start with any of this?
Certainly. I mean, I think it comes from knowing what is on the page, what exists. Because I think of it kind of like a Venn diagram of like there's Scorpius as he exists in the text, and then there's the Erik as I exist in my life. And then where does it overlap and where does it not overlap? And what what do I need to do to move parts of me over into Scorpius or parts of Scorpius into me, so that what is happening on stage is like a cohesive being that exists in the present moment with my scene partner, with the audience. And I think that's a messy process that I don't understand fully. And I've, had 865 shows now to try to figure that out. And I'm still trying to figure it out every single night. But early on in the rehearsal process, that was like asking questions about who is Scorpius? What's his background like? What's his relationship with his parents up until the events of the play begin? Who is Astoria, who's his mother, who we never meet on stage, but we hear her talked about. And what is his relationship with Draco? What's his upbringing like? It's a lot of those biographical sort of questions that I was asking myself before rehearsal started. And then once we're off to the races and we're in the rehearsal room, it kind of becomes about, I think, not forgetting that, but not letting it weigh you down, like letting whatever games crop up between you and your scene partner happen. And that's still the game we play every night of what is Alex Sereno is the fantastic actor that plays Albus right now with me. And where is he at, and what buttons is he pushing in me that I can manipulate and push in him, and where does that take us? And that because that's where the story exists. It's like in the triangle that is in the space in the theater between us and between the audience.
I enjoy how kind of mirror images each of the generations are, and then even because like Draco and Harry, we obviously know, but Scorpius and Albus are they're flip-flopped, even though they're sons of Draco and Harry, but Scorpius is the good one. Like, I feel, this is my interpretation.
I'm going to tell Alex you said that.
Yeah, tell him. I feel like Scorpius is the one who's like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, we got to make it right.
He has a strong moral compass. I think they both have a very strong moral compass.
Yeah. And I think Albus, Harry's kid, is kind of taken for, like, he's rebelling more from the Potter name in a darker way than Scorpius does from the Draco name, or from the Malfoy name.
Well, I think perhaps what Scorpius is, what the shadow, the Malfoy shadow that Scorpius is under, like the way to move away from it or rebel against it or ask who he is in a reflection of who has come before him, is to move into a lighter sense.
Yeah.
Whereas Albus is dealing with a different shadow, the shadow of perceived perfection. And so how is he moving away from that?
That's got to be frustrating, though. I mean, to play that level. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, as the character, the character of Albus has got to be such a frustrating thing, and that's got to be so much fun for you as Scorpius to play against.
Yeah, I mean, it's a blast because on the page, Scorpius reads tragically.
Yeah,
like the humor is there. The humor is totally in the text. But what my first impression of reading the script was like, oh my gosh, this poor child has, he loses his mother. Everyone thinks he's the son of the worst person ever in this world.
Right.
And that's definitely what sat with me at the beginning. And then I got into the rehearsal process and discovered how much light and joy and frenetic bubbliness exists within him. And part of that is also the parts of me that I wanted to infuse into the character. And where did that take us? Because it is, I have a mentor who says, acting mentor says, subjects of a sensitive nature are typically broached when a relationship is in a good place. And I think that's true because Scorpius is dealing with tremendously difficult, tragic things, but he tries to do it with a smile as much as he possibly can.
I like that a lot, actually. And your version of Scorpius, what did you say? Bubbliness? I was going to say nervous energy.
Yeah, same thing.
Was that you bringing this to the character, or was it you're sort of directed like, okay, be more frantic, more shaking, more anxiety?
Yeah, Connor Wilson is the associate director who I've worked with a ton on the show because John Tiffany, the original director, has I don't even know how many productions we have globally now, 7 productions. So I've worked a lot with Connor as well as John. And Connor gave me a note early on in the rehearsal process that Scorpius thinks and talks at the same time. He doesn't think and then talk. So I think there's a lot of that going on. I also think that I am generally a fairly anxious person. And when I'm making my Broadway debut, I'm in my first Broadway rehearsal process, there's a lot of anxiety there. And so however that manifests in me, it becomes part of the character. And there it is.
Have you been able to watch yourself? Have you seen a taping or anything? Like, do you see your physicality?
I've seen little clips here and there when it's like we're talking about something. Well, like from the movement team, if it's like we're talking about this shape or whatever.
Sure.
Or my friends will send me like TikToks and say, "Is this you? Is this you?" And I'm like, sometimes yes, and sometimes like no. That is the wonderful actor playing the role in London.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen little clips, but not much. No.
Does that affect your performance at all? Or are you just like, oh, I like that? Or are you someone who's just like, nope, I'm just doing my thing. I don't read reviews.
I try to just forget about it.
Good.
I try to kind of severance brain it.
I love Severance.
It's incredible.
I'm listening to the Severance podcast now, the recap podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Did you know that exists?
I know it exists. I haven't listened to it.
Yeah, with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott, they go through and it's a recap. Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll talk about Severance for the next 3 hours. So then you, as Erik, the audience feedback, talking about that, because your character, there are Draco stans who will just love Draco, and there's Harry, and there's Hermione. But like, is there a following now for Scorpius? And then also talk about the feedback. I mean, just for like kind of this unspoken, or maybe it is spoken, just the relationship that is venturing into this romantic territory with Albus.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I think the show has like, I don't think you get to run for 6+ years on Broadway without like finding your pocket of people that really love the show and connect with the characters and with that as Albus and Scorpius. And I feel so grateful for the people at the stage door that are like, I love Scorpius. Like, I feel so connected to Scorpius. Scorpius feels like me because I agree. And I am so happy to provide that and get to be a part of that. Like, it's a huge gift. Then Albus and Scorpius's relationship is I think at the core, it's like a play that explores father-son relationships. Mm-hmm. But I also think it's that Albus-Scorpius relationship is everything in the play. And I think they deeply love each other. And I think that is felt by the audience. I think it's felt by the return viewers who come again and again. I think that's part of what the draw is. And I'm rooting for the two of them. We'll see where things go once they're a little older.
Yeah. It's interesting that I like how it's kind of left to the interpretation of what happens next, because it could be just like this intense platonic love that choose. Love is a spectrum. Love is love. Yes, we will go there, and the respect and admiration and the need, the support for each other that each of these characters have.
They literally save each other's lives.
Yeah.
And I think that goes really deep. And at the end of the play, Scorpius is finally learning about what maybe a hug is.
Yeah.
And outside of his dad, the first person he wants to hug is Albus. And that's really sweet. And the awe that I get to hear every night when I go hug Albus is so sweet.
Oh.
And I try to... Did you see Appropriate?
Yes, I did.
A couple months ago.
Yeah.
There was a scene where Sarah Paulson's Tony hugged her son,
mm-hmm.
and it was like it was quiet on stage, and it was just this beautiful hug that like the actors I felt like they like sat in it and let it exist, and I was really struck by that moment. And ever since seeing that, I have tried to let the hug we share at the end of the play kind of sit. Because I think that it's like if all that happens is somebody walks away from the play and they feel empowered to give their friend a hug, I think that's a wonderful thing to walk away from the play with.
Or come out to somebody or say something to somebody that they want. Yeah, for real. And I love that the parents too in this story, in this through line, all of the parents it's not a thing. It's not a plot point. It's just like it's two people who care about each other.
Right.
Period. Full stop. I love that when they allow, especially to men, to express feelings for each other, and it doesn't become part of. It doesn't become like, oh my gosh, look at what they're doing. It's just, they care about each other. That's what people do. People care about each other.
Yeah, it just kind of is part of the fabric of their relationship.
Yeah. I agree with that. Is there a favorite moment, illusion that you have in the show?
It changes. It changes all the time. I love the phone booth.
Yes.
Takes my breath away. I love when the first time turner ripple happens.
Oh, that effect is so cool.
Yeah.
The audience is like, what?
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I am standing on stage when it happens. And I love just hearing the ripple through the audience. It brings a smile to my face all the time.
What does the bass feel like when you're on stage? Because in the audience, the bass of that moment is like you feel it in your chest.
Yeah. I think I can feel it. And I think I've also kind of become accustomed to it.
You get used to time turning.
And the the heat from the flames. It's,
Yeah.
Just a day at the office.
I was just talking about this with Aaron. Yeah, that like the heat from the flames, I could feel halfway back from the orchestra. And I squinted. It was so hot.
Yeah.
So I can imagine what you guys are feeling on stage when this stuff is just right there.
Yeah, it's toasty. And again, it's just a day at the office. It's normal. It's totally safe. And then when, if I'm out for a couple shows, if I'm sick or whatever, and I come back, I am reminded, oh yeah, that's a part of what I do. Wow.
So then, okay, you're going through 8 shows a week, you're going through all these illusions, and then you have to remember the contingencies for the contingencies because it goes multiple levels deep. And you mentioned earlier that you're a bit of an anxious person. So what do you do to maintain all of this on stage and leave it on stage and be your best self at home?
Yeah. Oh, it's hard. And I'm still trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Early on in my career, it's not something I have a ton of experience with yet. Usually the post-show recovery involves eating because I've burned a lot of calories, and winding down with a book or a show. Right now it's Severance. And then in terms of on stage and living within, what is entirely controlled, but should feel entirely chaotic to the audience and to the characters. Mm-hmm. I think it comes back to just being in the moment. It may be cliche to say or easier said than done, but that is what working on the show has been a lesson for me in being in the moment, because that's all you can control.
So when you're in the moment on stage in the show, that's one thing, but then thinking about it at home afterwards, you're like, oh, I could have done that differently, or that cue came in too late, or I came in too early, whatever the case is.
Sure.
I am someone, speaking for myself, that I used to beat myself up over that stuff. And it would kind of get to the point where I would cause it to happen again the next show because I was so worried about preventing it from happening.
Yeah. Not to say I haven't experienced that, because I certainly have. And at a certain point, the show stopped being about making tonight's show better than last night's show or trying to perfect whatever it was I was working on. And it became about just letting tonight's show be tonight's show. And whatever happens is the story tonight, right now. And that's what we're doing. So with that mentality, maybe this comes from baseball of if you strike out, you got to have a short-term memory about it. And so that's the approach I aspire to have. That said, that I certainly also, will have worked myself up into a tizzy coming up to a moment that I know went poorly last night, and my palms get sweaty and I get worried. but that's part of what it is to be an actor, I think, is to keep moving the story.
Keep moving the story. Yeah, that's right. Be in the moment. So you're not focusing, you're not focusing on what happened last night or what could happen, because if you're in the moment, you're just thinking about right now in front of you and what's across from you, or, if you're doing a monologue, it's your audience is the scene partner. So
right.
you're in with them. We're going to take a quick break for a few commercials. All right, everyone, welcome back to the episode. Have you noticed the audiences? I mean, you've done quite a few shows now. So have the audiences remained the same in terms of their I was going to say intrigue, but yeah, maybe intrigue's the right word, because the farther we get away from the last movie coming out, there's so many more distractions, right? But it seems like the audiences still are just in love with this story and this world, this whole fantasy world.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the show brings about a wealth of nostalgia for all of us involved, but also for the audience. And almost every night at the stage door, there's somebody saying, I've been waiting 5 years to see this show.
Wow.
I've been waiting, since I heard about London to see this show. And we've traveled from all over, people come from Japan and Mexico and Argentina and Texas and all across the world to see the show. So I think there is still a sort of voracious appetite for Wizarding World stories. And there are people that say at the stage door every night, I don't know anything about Harry Potter, but oh my goodness, I love the show, and I'm going to go read all the books now. I'm going to go watch all the movies now. And so we also get to be a jumping off point into the Wizarding World for some people.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're nostalgia for the parents, you're fresh for the kids. And actually that was my experience too, because I recently when I saw the show, I brought my 10-year-old.
Perfect.
And he did not he doesn't read the books. He has never been into the movies. I don't know why. But now he was saying that he told me this is his favorite show now.
Oh wow! Well,
Like
tell him I say hello in Wizzo.
Okay. I guess then, do you have any feedback though for from the audience, or any moments that stand out to you from everything that you've been sent, or like fan mail or anything? Because if you're having people write you and see the show from all over the world, I figure there's got to be just an amazing array of stories that you've got filed away.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am privileged to receive some really beautiful artwork of people's interpretations of Scorpius.
I love that. I love that people draw.
Yeah, and it always touches me when they include my mole in the character artwork. So in that way, I've gotten to see a lot of people's visions of who this character is, and heard ways in which the story has impacted them, which is incredibly special.
That's very cool.
And the audience fluctuates every single night. It's a different energy, and that's what I think is special about live theater. And where the story doesn't change, but the journey does, and that's what I love about it. Yeah,
well, it's live theater. So then, if you could bring any spell from the wizarding world into our real world.
Oh wow, the Accio spell. Would be really useful.
Yep, that's what Aaron said too.
Yep.
I think Accio or I think just being able to time turn would be dangerous.
Yeah. All the time.
Would be cool.
All the time at the stage door, there are kids with time turners, and I have to say, please be very careful with that, because we have learned that's dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you might just totally change the whole world, dude. Yeah, okay. So we're going to start wrapping up with a little game called Plot in 60 Seconds. There's 60 seconds here in front of you on the screen. And so I have a list of 16 popular musicals.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you straight actors. You get the fun time. Musicals. So give me a number 1 through 16 that will correspond to a show on my list, and then you give me the plot to that show in 60 seconds.
Okay. Well, let's see how this goes. Hopefully I know the show. Let's go with number 4.
Number 4 is Book of Mormon. Go.
The Book of Mormon. I've never seen this show.
Yes.
I've listened to it, and my understanding is that it is about 2 Mormon missionaries who go to Uganda. I think they go to Uganda
45 seconds
to
remaining.
try and spread their beliefs, and probably some lessons are learned along the way. And there's a song about Orlando.
Yep.
But that's not where they are.
No.
Or maybe they go there. And
30 seconds remaining.
there's some laughter had along the way.
A lot of laughter.
And probably at the end of the show, there's a happy ending, and two
15
friends
seconds remaining.
learn to give each other a hug, and a father and a son reconnect. And they don't travel in time again.
All right. I'll take that. All right, we'll go with that. All right, so then the 3 standard closing questions I ask everyone simply is, first one is, what motivates you?
What motivates me? I think joy and love motivate me, curiosity, and other things that I'm still trying to figure out.
Fair enough. All right, what advice would you give to your younger self and younger people listening now, starting out down a similar path?
It will be okay. focus on your breath and slow down.
Are you a meditator? You mentioned breath. Like, you meditate?
Not formally, but maybe in some informal, personal way. Okay. I think so.
All right. Last question, hardest one. If you could only see one show for the rest of your life, but you can see it as many times as you want, what would you see?
Wow. Wow. Probably the Scottish play. Especially because I think Shakespeare invites a lot of different interpretations. So while you may be watching the same story from A to Z, you'll get to see a bunch of interpretations.
And every time you listen or watch it, you pull out different beats from the words.
Sure.
Which are going to come out and mean different things. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, where can we connect with you online on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Erik, erik.c.peterson, and that's about it.
Good. All right. I'm on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Yeah, I'm out there. I don't know. Connect with me. Shoot, hit my mic. I'm out there. Leave a rating and a review wherever you're listening now. Thanks to Jukebox the Ghost for the intro and outro music. Thanks to WelcomeToTimesSquare.com for this lovely studio. And thanks to Erik Christopher Peterson for this lovely conversation.
Absolute joy. Thanks for chatting.
Take a deep breath, make the world a little colorful.